Let me drop the act for a minute and face something most guys don't want to acknowledge until it hits them hard. You can shower her with gifts, take her on amazing trips, cheer her on in everything she does, fix every problem she has, and offer her the world. But none of that ensures she'll stay loyal. None of it guarantees love. None of it captures her heart, because loyalty doesn't come from your kindness. It's not rooted in your efforts or all the good things you do. Women stay loyal to one thing: how you make them feel, not just now and then, but consistently, deeply, emotionally, and on a soul level. That's the hard truth most nice guys don't want to hear, and it's the quiet reality that causes heartbreak after heartbreak. You could be the perfect man on paper, the provider, the protector, the reliable one, and still watch her walk away like none of it ever mattered. You might be the guy who gave everything, the one who always replied, always forgave, always tried to fix things, and still lose her to someone who did none of that but made her feel something real. Because for her, feelings are the foundation of connection. It's not logic that drives her loyalty. It's emotional resonance. And once your presence stops making her feel alive, desired, valued, or thrilled, she starts to fade away. Maybe she hasn't left physically yet, but emotionally, she's already gone. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus once observed that character is destiny. And when you understand how loyalty truly works, you realize that your character, not your actions, determines whether she stays. The Roman statesman Cicero wrote that friendship is the greatest gift of the gods, but loyalty is what makes it last. And loyalty in a relationship isn't built on what you provide. It's built on who you are when you're not trying to provide anything at all. That's why you'll sometimes see women cheat on men who treat them like royalty with guys who barely put in any effort. It's not that women crave mistreatment. It's that the emotional thrill they feel from unpredictability, bold confidence, and raw masculine presence can often feel more powerful than the safety of consistency. If your version of stability lacks emotional richness, if your kindness is missing that grounded masculine presence, then no matter how impressive you seem on paper, she'll begin to emotionally disconnect. Because women don't stay loyal to what you do for them. They stay loyal to how your energy makes them feel about themselves. Now, here's the hard pill to swallow. The more you try to win her over by being overly accommodating, the less magnetic you become. When your actions are driven by fear of losing her, upsetting her, or ending up alone, she can feel that energy. And nothing pushes feminine energy away faster than a man giving from a place of insecurity. She doesn't want your favors. She wants your presence. She wants to feel your inner stability. She wants to feel emotionally moved when she's around you. If your worth is tied only to what you do and not who you are, then your time with her is already running out. You could be paying all her bills and still be disrespected. You could plan the perfect dates, give your all, and still be left on red. You could be fully committed, doing everything right, and still watch her choose a guy who gives her nothing but emotional turbulence. Why? Because it's not about effort. It's about emotional impact. The challenge stirs something inside her. It engages her emotions, and that's what she attaches to. Not what you give, but what she feels. Women are drawn to the man who evokes emotion, not the one who tries to fix everything. You could devote years to keeping her happy, only to hear her say, "I just don't feel the same anymore." That may not be something you cause directly, but it is something you need to understand if you want to build a lasting connection. You've got to let go of the belief that more action equals more affection. Stop assuming that loyalty is a reward for overextending yourself. It isn't. Loyalty grows from emotional polarity, from your presence, from the energy you radiate. Women bond emotionally. They stay where there's excitement, unpredictability, passion, and the sense that they're evolving. You can't buy that experience. You can't fake it with effort alone. It's something you create by owning who you are fully, boldly, without apology. It's not about pleasing her. It's about embodying your core, your masculine energy, and letting her feel that deeply. The guys who go overboard from the start, the ones who treat their girlfriend like royalty right out of the gate, are often acting out of fear. They're trying to secure her affection before she slips away. But here's the twist. The more you try to hold on tightly, the more she'll start to question it. She'll test you. She'll pull back. She'll feel uneasy about how eager you are. And eventually, she'll lose interest. Why? Because she's not looking for someone to serve her. She's looking for a man who stands his ground, who brings steady, composed energy, who doesn't lay it all out like he's auditioning for approval. The kind of man she truly respects and stays loyal to isn't the one constantly available or seeking validation. It's the man who is emotionally independent, who carries an air of mystery, who challenges her, not to play games, but because he's grounded in purpose, because he values himself, because he has boundaries, and most importantly, because he's not afraid to walk away if he's not being met with equal value. That's what sparks her deepest loyalty. Not your actions, but how she feels when she's around you. Safe, thrilled, uncertain, understood, all at once. You need to stop equating giving with value. Doing something nice doesn't automatically win her heart. Being consistently present doesn't guarantee emotional connection. Women aren't drawn in by logic, they bond through feeling. You have to stir something inside her. That's what leaves an imprint. That's what builds emotional ties. That's what makes her keep choosing you. Not because of what you provide, but because your presence lights something up in her. Because being with you makes her feel fully alive. Think about it for a second. How often have you seen the guy who puts in the least effort end up with the most devotion? It seems irrational, right? But it starts to make sense when you understand that women aren't loyal to a man's credentials. They're loyal to how he makes them feel. It's not about the checklist. It's about the experience. The man who keeps her guessing, who makes her laugh, who's immersed in his own life and not constantly seeking her approval. That man stirs emotions and emotional intensity. It's addictive. She thinks about him. She craves his vibe. Her stomach flips when he walks in the room. That's what loyalty is built on. That's what keeps her coming back. The Roman poet Ovid wrote that love is a kind of warfare. And in that war, the man who is too predictable, too available, too eager has already surrendered before the battle even begins. The man who holds his ground, who keeps some mystery, who doesn't give away all his power, is the one who commands respect and loyalty. This isn't about being unkind or playing games. It's not about withholding love or becoming cold. It's about shifting from trying to impress with good behavior to embodying presence, strength, and direction. Not from a place of need, but from a place of self-assuredness. That's what leaves an impression. That's what she truly responds to. You become the kind of man who gives from desire, not from a need to be accepted. The man who can walk away when necessary, who doesn't feel the urge to over-explain himself, who stands firm when she pushes boundaries, and that's when she feels something real. That's when her respect for you deepens, not because of your actions alone, but because of your unshakable presence. The man she remains loyal to is the one who doesn't bend under pressure, who doesn't edit his truth just to avoid conflict, who can handle her emotions without absorbing them. He becomes her grounding force, steady in the chaos, not flawless, but rooted, true to himself no matter what. And that steadiness becomes her sense of safety, especially when life turns turbulent. That's the foundation of lasting loyalty, emotional consistency, not transactional gestures, not a checklist of good deeds. Because if she's only there for what you do, someone else who offers more can easily take your place. But if she's with you because of how you make her feel deeply, emotionally, unmistakably, then no amount of money, gifts, or effort from another man can break that bond. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once observed that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, and how you react to her pulling away, to her testing you, to her emotional shifts. That is what determines whether she stays. If you react with desperation, you lose. If you react with grounded presence, you win. This is where most men miss the mark. They try to win loyalty with effort by doing more, giving more, proving themselves. But loyalty doesn't come from effort alone. It's sustained through emotional connection. And emotional connection isn't built through favors or constant service. It's born from a man's grounded masculine presence. Presence, purpose, power. That's what resonates. Women aren't moved by effort that lacks edge. You can send sweet messages every morning, write her poetry, plan thoughtful dates, but if there's no tension, no mystery, no emotional spark, she'll start to feel suffocated. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing too much of what doesn't reach her core. True attraction lives in emotional polarity. And that polarity only exists when you stay rooted in your masculine energy, calm, confident, steady, not chasing validation, not trying to earn her with performance, but showing up as someone who already knows his value. If there's one thing you walk away with, let it be this. Stop trying to prove your worth. Start living it. A woman's loyalty isn't tied to what you do. It's tied to how she feels. If you consistently create emotional depth, making her feel safe, seen, feminine, desired, she'll pursue you, stay loyal, and hold deep respect for you. But the moment you shift from being to doing, the energy changes. You become easy to read, predictable, passive. The mystery fades, and with it, desire starts to slip. It might not feel fair, but that's the emotional reality. You can either embrace it and learn to lead, or ignore it and get caught off guard. So stop trying to win her over. Stop thinking attention, gifts, or constant effort will buy love like some kind of loyalty program. Let go of the need to impress. Instead, double down on your presence, your direction, your internal frame. Let your stillness speak louder than any words. Let your strength create the space where her devotion naturally grows. Because you don't win her by trying harder. You win her by standing firmer. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When your thoughts are colored by desperation, your soul reflects that. But when your thoughts are colored by self-respect and grounded presence, your soul reflects that too. And she will feel it. This is where most men get it wrong. They confuse loyalty with obligation. They think, after everything I did for her, how could she walk away? But that's not how a woman's emotional world works. She's not keeping score. She's not counting your efforts. She's tuned into one thing, how she feels in your presence. That's why the past doesn't anchor her. Her emotions live in the now. And if what she's feeling today doesn't move her, yesterday won't save you. That means you can't cling to your history together. You can't try to guilt her into staying. You have to be the man who makes her feel something real right here, right now. That's the key to keeping her. The man who truly gets this becomes unshakable. He doesn't overextend himself. He doesn't chase. He's no longer swayed by female attention or controlled by the fear of losing it. He stops trying to earn love and starts investing in himself. And through that self-possession, he becomes magnetic. His frame becomes solid. His life starts to draw people in. His energy becomes something she feels and can't ignore. Women notice that. They respect it. They're attracted to it, not because of what he does, but because of who he is. That's the kind of man a woman stays loyal to even when things get hard. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And when you waste your time trying to earn loyalty through effort, you are wasting the opportunity to become the kind of man who inspires loyalty naturally. So the next time you find yourself asking, why is she pulling away when I've done so much? Stop. Don't chase. Step back and examine the emotional space. Have you been giving from a place of confidence or from a need to be validated? Have you been leading with your vision or performing to earn approval? Are you creating emotional impact or simply managing her emotions? Be honest with yourself. And from that honesty, come back to your center. That's where your real power lies. Because when it comes down to it, women aren't moved by what you do for them. They're moved by how you make them feel about themselves in your presence. What women truly care about is how they feel when they're around you. So give her something real, something unforgettable. Not by losing yourself in her, but by standing so deeply rooted in who you are that she chooses to hold on. That's how loyalty is built. Not through effort or performance, but by becoming the kind of man who effortlessly inspires it. The Roman poet Horace wrote that what we have is not ours unless we can lose it. And when you understand that she is not yours to keep, but yours to attract, you stop clinging. You stop trying to control. You start being the kind of man she wants to hold on to. Because a woman who feels she has options will always consider them. But a woman who feels something undeniable in your presence will close those options herself. Not because you asked, but because you made her feel something she doesn't want to lose. That's the real secret. That's the truth that most men never learn. And that's what separates the men who are constantly chasing from the men who are being chased. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus also taught that no great thing is created suddenly. And the loyalty that comes from emotional connection is no exception. It is built through the accumulation of moments where you show up as your grounded self, where you refuse to react, where you hold your frame. Each moment you choose presence over performance, you build that loyalty. And as you build it, it becomes something unshakable. So, stop chasing. Stop proving. Start being. The right woman will feel the difference, and she will stay. Not because you convinced her, but because you made yourself impossible to walk away from.